Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Elsie, and I'm with the Contractors Institute. And I'll be presenting this course today for you. Now, this is just a quick overview of the business and finance. You know, what to do, what not to do, how to do it. I know you just joined the school, you're logged into your learning locker. So I want to explain a couple of things before you actually get started. So anyway, again, my name is Richard Elsie. I'm with the Contractors Institute. Welcome to class. And if you have any questions, you're always welcome to give, Jeff or me a call at any point, and we'll try to help you out the best we can. Anyway, thanks a lot. Again, my name is Richard Elsie. I'll be the instructor or guide today for you. Finance course. My name's Richard Elsie, and I'll be the instructor or host for this module here for you. And I'm going to make it go real quick. This is just to get you started with the business and finance. Now, notice the CILB, the Construction Industry Licensing Board, has a 6.5-hour exam, and all categories have the same exam. Now, the ECLB, the Electrical Contractors Licensing Board, they only have a 2.5-hour exam. Same type of questions, same business issues. It's just they're under a different board, therefore they're regulated a little different. So let's go ahead and start the show. And here we go, back to school, something that we haven't did in a long time, or at least most of us have not done in a while. So here we are again. So the first thing you got to do is you sign up for the school and purchase some books. Now, chances are, since you're here in your learning locker, you've already did that portion. So you already have your books, the most current books on the book list, and you're registered for the school. Now it's time to get started. But a lot of students, ask the question, what's next? Well, the next thing we want you to do is go ahead and start tabbing your books. Now, if you tab your book, some people don't, so if you don't, go ahead and skip this. But if you're going to take the time to purchase the tabs and to put the tabs in the books, as you insert the tabs, make sure you slowly stop and read why you put the tab on the page. Now, remember, the whole process is a learning process. And I know it's not exciting, but it's necessary. It teaches you what's in the book and what's located where in the book. So make sure you tab your books and you look and mark what you tabbed. Once you've done that, go online here to your learning locker and you'll see your highlight sheets for every one of your books. So go ahead and open those up, and you can do this at your own convenience. We're not going to bring you into the classroom and do this because it just wastes so much time. You can do this on your own by simply opening up your book, opening up the highlight sheets, and highlighting where it tells you to highlight. And again, as you do that, don't just color, stop and read. Why are you highlighting it? It must be important, if we took the time to type it out on a sheet of paper to have you highlight. So stop and read it. Now, once you do that, do all the questions in the book. Now, you want to go through the course in your learning locker and start doing the questions one by one. I know they're not exciting. They're necessary. And I understand some of you may not have done much in the business portion of your companies. We're more technical people, but unfortunately now we have to get into the position of office. What do we do in the office? How do we handle this? Now, remember, everything's out of a book here, and that's the way we're going to stick with it for this exam. So try to do all the questions one by one, from your contractor's manual and all the others, okay, that you may have. Once you've done that, now you don't have to do, the questions first before coming, to class. You can always come to class and jump right in. But after you do the questions, you need to attend the seminar. Now, you can do that by coming to the class with us or logging on the webinar and watching it all day with us. Either way, you're getting the same exact show, but that's up to you. We made it convenient so you can set it at your house and do it at your own convenience or office, or you can actually come with us in the classroom as we teach it and ask the questions there. So How you do it, it doesn't matter. You can, attend the webinar or attend the seminar, then watch the webinar. That's strictly up to you. Now, the nice thing about the recorded webinars, you can always fast forward and back up however many times you need to. But unfortunately, if you have any questions and you're watching the recording, you need to write those questions down and then give us a call. So after you attend the seminar and you've done all the questions, you've done all the tabbing and highlighting, go ahead and take your simulated exam. Now, we tried to set it up in the same format your actual exam is. If you have a 6.5-hour exam pulling from, the 3-4 different books, then your simulated exam is going to do the same thing for you, same exact time. So we're trying to mirror whatever the test does. And if you can pass our exam, hopefully you'll be able to pass theirs. And then once you do that and you're ready, go take your test. Go ahead, get it out of the way. It's a 6.5-hour computer-based exam. You're going to sit in a room all day. There's no breaks, unfortunately, but that's okay. We'll get through this. So take your test and pass it. Success. That's what we're all going for. That's what we want. Here at the Contractors Institute, nothing makes us happier when a student calls us and said, Rich, I passed my first time. Now, it's a difficult exam. It really is. No one's going to say it's not. If you prepare correctly, you should be able to pass. But again, there's no shame in failing the test. It's a difficult test. If you fail the test, hey, so what? Go back and retake it. You have 21 days. You cannot retake the test for 21 days. So go ahead and take that time and focus on areas that when you were in the test, you felt weak on. If you felt weak on your AIE contract documents, then focus up on those more. If you felt, that you couldn't reference the book, that's okay. Get into the books more. So that 21 days is, use it to your benefit. Go in there and, what do I need to do better, and do it, then retake the test, and I'm sure you'll pass it at that point. Okay? So just keep going. It's a difficult test. It really is, especially for people that's been out of the, business and finance and has been out of the a school setting for a long period of time. So it takes a little bit of getting used to again. Now here I just wanted to try to give you some guidelines, and I put who's on first. Now I know a lot of people are going to look at that and don't have a clue as to what it means. Others will. So if you don't, you can figure it out. I want to remind you not to write in your books. As you go through your course and as you begin, you're not supposed to have any handwritten notes in your book. Now, I've seen a couple of people make a little mark in the margin or something like that. What they're really meaning is they don't want you to go through the book and have it full of notes. They don't want to see any notes, but, make sure you try to avoid it as you go through the course. Now, you can highlight the book. You can use different color highlighters. You can underline in ink. That's fine. So highlighting and underlining in ink, either one of them is going to be okay for you. And if you are going to insert additional tabs, the only thing I can give you an advice on is make sure that the tab set says permanent. If they're not permanent and they're removable flags, such as a Post-it note, you're going to remove it the day of the test. So they have to be permanent tabs. The adhesive is so strong, it permanently bonds to the page. And as you find your answers by doing the questions, go ahead and stop and highlight those as well if they're not already highlighted. And sometimes when you're doing the questions, when you find the answer, look above it a little bit, look below it. What else are they talking about? Because it's continuous. Students come out of the test and say, Rich, they didn't ask me exactly what you had highlighted, but it was like the paragraph above. And it's like, okay, so you knew the area, you were familiar with the book enough that when you got there, you saw where you had highlighted at, so you were familiar with it, so you were able to find the answer. And that's what the test is about. Okay, so make sure you look over the page a little bit when you're there highlighting. Now, do everyone a favor, including yourself, and I know you're a mathematical genius, and we all are, but we forget things over the years, believe it or not. And the older you get, the more it seems to you that you forget. So go back and watch the basic business and finance math show. I mean, it just goes over proportions, percentages, and different basic things, but just so you didn't forget. And you need it for your technical test anyway. So go ahead and stop and do the math course. I think it'll do a lot of people a lot of good. Now, you have, in order to take your exam, you have 6.5 hours. It's 2.5 hours if you're taking the electrical exam. So it is a long exam, but, we're getting through it. Everyone seems to be getting through it okay, and we're passing. Now, if you take the amount of time you have to do the test, which you have 390 minutes, and divide that by the number of questions you have on your exam, that will tell you the amount of time you have per question. Okay, so you always want to be familiar with that. So if you spend more than that amount of time on any individual question, then you're taking time from another question. Okay, so you don't want to do that. And even if you get up and go to the restroom, the clock does not stop for you. It continuously runs. So whenever you're getting a drink or you want to grab a bite out of your locker, as you process in, the proctors at the exam at the computer centers, they assign you a locker to keep your stuff in. You can put water in there, food, your keys to your car, and so on. That's what I meant by saying that you could go to your locker and get some food. Not that they provide you any food at all. Don't count on that. But all questions are of equal value. They don't have any weighted questions on the exam. So, a question that you look at is going to take, 15 minutes is worth the same amount of points as one that you know off the top of your head. So go through the exam and pick the easiest 70% of the questions to you and go ahead and pass that exam. Get the easy ones first, then worry about the ones you're unfamiliar with or you don't know or it's going to take you a little time to do the calculation on. And again, all questions are multiple choice. Okay, they're all multiple choice. So A, B, C, or D answer selection. 25% odds of guessing it correctly. But always look at the flip side of the coin there. If you have 25% odds of guessing it correctly, you have 75% odds of guessing it incorrectly. So try to eliminate some of the answers when possible and just give it your best guess. And whatever you guess first, stick with it. Don't change your guess. And you do have to have a 70% minimal score for the Construction Industry Licensing Board. And for the ECLB, the electrical contractors, they want a 75 on their business test. Okay, so that's the minimal scores we need to strive for in order to pass. Now, you can use a calculator. There's the electrical calc. There's a heavy construction calc. This one's simply a construction master, and the only reason I put it in here is for an example, really. It's just that I see a lot of guys with a calculator the size of a credit card. Just like, wow, you're going to try to use that for the test where you have to take your fingernail and try to touch the key. Said, why don't you just go out and buy a calculator? They're very inexpensive, one with bigger keys on it where, you can actually press it with your finger. And if you have bad eyes, which happens to us, and you haven't updated your cheaters or your glasses, you may want to go ahead and get your calculator with a tilt-up screen with big old 2-inch numbers on it or something. Just don't defeat yourself over a calculator, for the exam. It doesn't make any sense. So when you're ready, go to, I put the address up there for you, Professional Testing, and I'll walk you through step by step. And it's not rocket science. You just go there and they're going to say, hey, what test do you want to take? And they're going to make you pay for it. So let me keep in mind that the test is $135 to the state. Then you have $80 for your business exam, and then another $80 for your technical exam. So those are the prices that you're going to be paying. But keep in mind, if you pay for the exam separately, you'll pay $135 plus $80 for the business and finance. Then when you go back to pay for your technical, it's another $135 and another $80 for Pearson VUE for the exam. So save yourself some money and pay for the test all at once. For both, you don't have to schedule them at once, but you can pay for them at the same time to save yourself some money. But that's up to you. And after you pass the test, that's when it's going to get sticky for you, because all of a sudden, you got to fill out a form called a change of status, the initial change of status. And there's where you're going to list your experience. How much experience do you have? You have to have the minimal, your credit scores, your credit reports. Are you going to need a bond? Is your credit score at least 660 or above? What line do I fill out? What I do I dot? Which T do I cross? Where do I put a comma and don't put it's aggravating to say the least. And it's frustrating because you'll fill it out and send it to them, and they'll send it back telling you to fix something, and then you'll do it, then you'll send it back, and it becomes a game after a little bit. Now, the Contractors Business Service is part of it's not really part of the school, but it's another business that we offer. And there's the number and everything for you. So if you want to call them to get prepared, they charge you a fee. So they're going to charge you all the monies that the state requires. They have to collect that from you to pay it. And then they're going to charge you something for doing all the paperwork, for filling out the experience, for pulling your teeth, basically, is what you're doing, because they're going to have to pull your teeth. Where do you get the experience? You want a GC license, you got to have experience on a 4-story building or more, structural experience. Where is that? We got to word it properly and use the correct terminology. So if you want to use the business, that's fine. I'll put the number down for you, and now it's between you and them. You can call them up. They'll give you an estimate on what the price is, and see what they say. You can start a little early. That's up to you. And here's our contact information. I went ahead and put my name and Jeff's name both up there. My name's Richard Elsey, and then you have Jeff Hyde, who the other instructor. And I put our emails up there, okay, for both of us, and an office phone number that you can contact us at. Now, you're more than welcome to. There's our address, 8301 Joliet Street, if you want to send us anything. The fax number's there. If you want to fax us over questions, or you can email us over questions, probably the best way. But anyway, there it is. So if you have any questions, go ahead and stop me and ask me. Give me a call, and I'll try to help you out the best I can. If not, go ahead and get started with your business and finance and see how you're going to do. Just take it slow, one question at a time, one thought at a time, and it'll all come to you, I promise. So thanks a lot. Again, my name's Richard Elsey, and again, I'm with the Contractors Institute, and we're going to try to help you get past this test as quickly as you can.